Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to start off by saying apologize for us taking another break. It's kind of unexpected. Things just kind of went crazy over the past 2 weeks. But now, we're trying to get this thing back on track. So we're behind on a lot of stuff. But I have to get out a preview before, the games start this week, because now we into week 9 and things really starting to heat up, So we see where people's pretty much stand against each other. And some things there's still a lot of uncertainty about, But I actually wanted to get a recap of week 8 this past couple of days, but kind of missed the ball on that. So and going through some of these games, I'm going to speak about a few things that happened over the past couple of weeks. There's a couple of videos that we want to get out with over the next couple of days. Like I said, we're uploading a lot in October. We plan on doing the same thing, plus more, coming in November. So just hang tight with us. Like I said, we don't plan on taking another break like this again. But like I said, sorry for the delay. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these week 9 games. Starting off first, we have a Thursday night matchup between the Green Bay Packers and San Francisco 49ers. Heading into this season, we all was very excited to see these two teams play again. But, with the crazy season that we've been having so far, this game it feels like a game that shouldn't even be played, in my opinion. The 49ers coming into the season, after week 1, starting in week 1, they've been getting killed by injuries like all season long. And going into this game, they're going to be without Jimmy Garoppolo, who's probably done for the season. George Kittle, who's also probably done to the season. And a bunch of other players that they had to add to the COVID list. So it's just like, this game just feels like I said, you hate to say it's always supposed to be next man up in the NFL, but this just kind of feels odd to me, And I understand that the NFL, they want to keep pushing along with the season, but these are one of those games where you look at it and you just like, I'm not really sure about how they plan on keep things going like this, not even with the injuries, just with the COVID thing, because it's so unexpected. Things just seem to happen every week, and it's not like cases are going to stop coming up in the league. So don't hate to spend too much time on that side of it, but I mean, obviously I'm picking the Packers in this game. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the 49ers, they'll surprise me, but I mean, they depleted at this point. Like, I don't see them pulling this off at all. The Packers still have a division to play for. So, yeah, man, it sucks to see the 49ers. They had games where they look great. We know with some of the players healthy, but now at this point, they have pretty much all the receivers are gone. Garoppolo's out, and yeah, just all around, just a bad situation. On the Packers side of things, they're not really missing too much. They have a couple of injuries as well, but nothing too major to where they should struggle in this game, especially, considering the fact that they are playing the 49ers this week. So yeah, that's the pick for me for Thursday night. Like I said, not even a hard one to go with. So moving on from that game, we're gonna go ahead and get into Sunday night, the Sunday matchups, starting off with the Broncos and the Falcons. I'm taking the Broncos in this match because even though the Broncos seem like they've been kind of hit or miss this season, like they have games where they look great. I won't say great, where they look good, but then they have games also where they look completely terrible, like that Patriots game. Last week they surprised me. I wasn't expecting the Broncos to beat the Chargers at all. And even it was looking that way. Like in the first half, the Broncos really couldn't do anything on offense. I mean, they pretty much was getting blown out up until the end of the third quarter. And they pulled it out, man. I gotta say that was pretty impressive. Because we all know what Herbert's made of at this point in that Chargers offense. Still have some struggles on defense, but I mean, they're not a bad team. I mean, I think that's just Chargers luck. That's something that's going to be stuck with that team. We spoke about it the week that they played the Saints. But all in all, like I said, that's still very impressive by the Broncos. And they're going up against a Falcons defense that's not that good. So if they can put up that same type of offensive performance against the Falcons, maybe they have a chance. On the Falcons side of things, this team is, we can't call it. We all know they have talent on the offensive side of the ball. They should never be as bad as they've been the last 2 seasons, but it just seems to keep happening, right? So you really don't know with this team, but I'm just going off, a hunch that I have. I think the Broncos might surprise them and pull this one off. The defense will have to play a little better because we know that Matt Ryan and Julio are going to put up yards and going to put up points. So I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends up being a shootout, but something in my gut just telling me go ahead and go with the Broncos. So that's my pick for this week. On from there, we have the Seahawks traveling to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, this team is, I don't really know what to say on the Bills side of things. They just haven't been looking the same. Like coming into the season, they looked like they were extremely dangerous. Like they were picking up, basically building off what they did last season, and they're still not bad. It's just sometimes I really can't call it with them. But they seem to be getting picking the offense back up last week. Their defense still has to start stepping up a little more, but going against Seattle, I just don't see them being able to hold off the Seahawks, especially the last time we saw them. Well, no, last week, that wasn't last time, but like I said, they have teams on their heels in their division as well. So yeah, man, I'm going with Seattle in this game. I think this is going to be a good one though, because I think the Bills does have an offense that could somewhat keep up with Seattle's. I mean, that's kind of hard to call because Seattle's been with Metcalf and Lockett. They've been killing it, man. Like seriously. So this is one that I can't see me picking against Seattle because like I said, Russ still on pace, MVP type season, and the only issue I'm concerned with Seattle at this point is the defense holding up, and we all know how that goes sometimes. And traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills, a team who's now starting to feel some heat in their division as well. You don't know how that's gonna go, but I'm sticking with Seattle on this one. I'm expecting them to continue to, win these games. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills pull this one off, man. So up next, we got the Bears traveling to take on the Tennessee Titans. I think this is gonna be extremely good, a good game. Now I'm gonna start off by saying this: that Bears offense, it's way too inconsistent. For one, the offensive line is pretty banged up, and with this team, they need to run the ball. They have weapons to pass, but this team operates off running the ball. That was one of the biggest. Biggest positives when they did have Trubisky. Now, when you have Foles now, that's one element of that offense that they used to have is gone now. Nick Foles is not going to run on you. So that offense, they have to find a way to put some things together. I know, like I said, that line is getting banged up on the offensive side, but yeah, they have to start finding some ways to start getting downfield. That's pretty much all I got on the Bears. The defense is fine. The Bears have a great defense. It's still easily one of the best defenses in the league. But you can run on them. You can run the ball on them, and we all know that's what Tennessee's going to do. That's what they plan on doing. So, and this one I really didn't know because both of these teams look great. Well, especially the Titans, they've kind of have two back-to-back losses that just I expected the Steelers, but after last week, I'll get into that in a second. But I'm taking the Titans in this game because they have to bounce back. The Colts are right on their heels. The Colts might be tied with them in the division, so they have to start back winning. They have to get back on track on what they were doing at first because what they've been showing lately is just not going to cut it. Just last week, the Titans lost to the Bengals, who I said going into that, even though I didn't get a video out, they're not pushovers. The Bengals will beat you if you don't bring your best A game. And that's exactly what happened. The Titans, they didn't bring it, I don't think, because the Bengals defense isn't that great. So you have opportunities to take shots downfield, to put up points, you know what I'm saying? They didn't start doing that till towards the end of the game. By then it was already out of reach. Then that's not even to take nothing away from the Bengals. That was a huge win on their point. But like I said, going into this week, the Titans have to get back on track because if they lose and the Colts happen to beat the Ravens, they fall to second place in the division. And I'm pretty sure that's not something they want. Like going into this season, after how they started off undefeated, the Titans looked like they were one of the best teams in the league, like at least top 5. They haven't looked like that in the last 2 weeks. Well, against the Steelers, I would say they still look like a good team. They just lost to a team that is good, maybe better, And but after last week, I'm not sure. Could have just fell victim to a trap game, but yeah, they got to get back on track with this one. So I'm taking the Titans in that one. And speaking of the Colts and the Ravens game, let's move on to that one. I'm taking the Ravens in this one, but I will say this: Lamar has to take care of the ball. That was one of the biggest reasons they lost to the Steelers last week, because without those turnovers, the Steelers could have easily won that game. I mean, not the Steelers, the Ravens could have easily won that game. So going into this, especially with the Colts offense starting to come alive, they've been putting up points this week. And when that was one of the weakest sides of that team at the beginning of the season. But lately Rivers he's been balling, So they have to protect the ball this week. We know that Colts defense is pretty good. And back to what I was saying about the Colts offense, the Ravens are going to be without Marlon Humphrey, their best defensive player. And we know the Colts are going to try and take advantage of that. So those guys that, have to step into those positions, they have to step up, They have to, make sure they don't allow big things downfield because, like I said, this Colts team already had a pretty good defense. Now that the offense starting to, get a little better, they could be pretty dangerous moving forward, So I'm going with the Ravens because I'm pretty sure they're going to have a pissed off Lamar Jackson coming off the loss last week where he didn't perform his best. They had, a little Hollywood Brown was speaking on Twitter about, how he felt like he weren't being used well enough in the offense. And Lamar said, he have to give him the ball. That's his job to get him the ball. So I'm expecting them to bounce back. But again, he can't force the ball to Hollywood, because that's how interceptions start happening. And we see that this team, that they can't afford that. I'm starting to notice that the Ravens are one of those teams that can't play from behind very well. They have to have a lead. So, like I said, they jump out early in this one. That defense should be able to hold it down, but we'll find out Sunday. So up next, we have the Panthers going to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Not really a lot to say about this one. I do like what the Panthers have going on in Carolina, but I don't think it's going to be enough for this Chiefs team. This Chiefs offense is, we all know what the Chiefs offense is. We know what the Chiefs defense is as well. It's not the greatest defense, but the defense does enough for the offense that they have on that team. Like I said, it's not even really a lot to say. The Chiefs are on a roll right now, and I expect them to continue that. Mahomes is on fire. And like I said, man, I just don't see the Panthers being able to hold up against it. Maybe they'll surprise us, but at Arrowhead, I just don't see it. So not really a lot to say on that one. On to the Lions and Vikings. I would have picked the Lions in this game, but the Lions has this the past week, had a lot of players that's injured right now. Matt Stafford is on I think he's on a COVID reserve list or something like that. He's not going to be in this game. Galladay I think he's hurt still. They just out of nowhere just got killed by players getting injured. So that's not good. Like, that would have been the way the Lions would have beat the Vikings. All those players were healthy. Easily picking the Lions. I don't think the Vikings could outscore the Lions, especially with the Vikings defense. Even though, they pulled off a upset last week, just don't see it. I mean, not the Lions. I mean, the Vikings, they pulled upset against the Packers last week. I still think the Lions would have had a team. I think the Lions would have still pulled this one off because I don't see the Vikings performing like that every week moving forward. But I am going to take the Vikings in this game, and it's just based off, because the Lions are injured. I don't think they're going to be able to hang with the Vikings. Now, I could get surprised, but I don't see it, especially with Dalvin Cook. He was a madman last week. He pretty much was all the points the Vikings scored last week. He had 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing and 1 receiving. I mean, dude absolutely went off last week. So, I mean, we know what Dalvin Cook is built like. So, I'm pretty sure they're going to do the same thing they did last week to Detroit. So, not too much more to say about that one. Up next, the Giants are traveling to take on the Washington football team. The Giants lost a heartbreaker Monday night, which was a game that nobody expected to be that close. The Giants, I've been talking about them all season long. I really do like this team. It's just small things that it has to change for this team moving forward. I like Daniel Jones, but the turnover problem is huge, and let's just call it how it is. He was a big part of the reason why they lost to the Bucs. He had a lot of missed opportunities, even at the 2-point conversion. It was a pass interference, but you're not going to always get that call, especially at that point of the game. And considering that it was so quick in real time, yeah, they're not gonna give you that call. But in all honesty, Daniel Jones throws that ball a second or two earlier when the guy was open. They going to overtime most likely, So yeah, man, this Giants team, that defense is great. That defense is great. I didn't want to say it was great. I thought like maybe they just played a couple bad offenses, but no, that defense is amazing. Considering the fact that how they were able to hold the Bucks, that type of offense, the way they did, that defense is really good. So it's all the offense at this point. They have to get that together. And Washington, we know they have a pretty decent defense as well. And I think offensively, Washington has been performing a little better than the Giants have. Do I think the Giants potentially could have a better offense? They could, but again, you turn into the turnover problem. Daniel Jones cannot keep turning the ball over. Now, I'm taking the Giants in this game because it's the NFC East, and honestly, anybody could win when those teams go head to head. But Washington pulled it off last time they played. Oh no, I'm lying. The Giants beat them last time. So this would help a lot if the Giants could sweep Washington. Because even though the Giants are 1-7 right now, they still could pull off this division. Now they have some very tough games ahead, but Philly, all those teams in that division have tough games ahead, All it takes, come first in that division, you in the playoffs. But yeah, that's the biggest key to the Giants beating the football team, man. They cannot turn the ball over like that again. So that's my pick for that one. Texans taking on the Jaguars. Not a lot to say about this one. I think the Jags are benching Minshew this week, which is idiotic. I don't know what the Jags are doing. I guess they're going all in on the tank at this point. But Minshew is not the problem. Has he been playing great? No, but has he been playing terrible or bad? Not at all. I mean, Minshew's been the quarterback that he's been since he's been in the league. So benching him, that kind of makes it look like he's the issue when he's not. But yeah, it's Deshaun Watson. I'm gonna pick him over the team because who knows what Jacksonville's doing. So it's not even a lot to say about them. So take a quick break, and after that, I'm gonna get into these next few games. The Las Vegas Raiders go ahead and take on a division rival this week in the LA Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers in this game. Now I do like what I see from the Raiders. The Raiders have been looking pretty good, considering all things, but last week, then they went and beat a Browns team who I thought, coming off the past performance they had before that, I thought the Browns were going to come in this game on fire. I thought the offense was going to light it up. That wasn't the case at all. It was a low-scoring game, but the Raiders pulled it off, and that's another thing I like about this team. They win games when they have to score a lot. They also win games where it kind of comes down to defensive battles sometimes. It's you never could really call it with them, but they fight. As we know how that's just the Raider way. They're gonna fight it. Good or bad, So yeah, like I said, I like what I see from them. But I'm taking the Chargers in this one because after last week, the Chargers their offense is great. Their offense is amazing. But Justin Herbert had also turned the ball over a couple times last week. Some turnovers we're not expecting to see from him. It's kind of weird how we judge rookie quarterbacks now. It's like they have to come out of college and be amazing, otherwise people think they're a bust. But we know that's not the case for him. But I expect this offense to get back on track. Even though the offense wasn't really the problem last week, I just think it's a little too much for the Raiders. Now, it's kind of crazy to say that when the Raiders outscored the Chiefs when they played them. But I'm expecting a bounce back game from the Chargers. But then again, you just never know because it's the Chargers, man. Anything could happen. They might jump out on the Raiders and end up blowing that lead. They've done it how many times this season? At least 4 or 5 times. So, yeah, man, I don't know with this one. I'm kind of just showing my favoritism towards Herbert because, like I said, I've been, when coming into the season, I kind of shitted on the pick. I told him I don't see that working out. I've been regretting that ever since. He's looked amazing. And, yeah, I'm still on the bandwagon, man. So I'm picking the Chargers to pull this game off. Up next, a game that we don't have to waste any time on. The Steelers taking on the Cowboys. The Steelers are going to beat the Cowboys. It's not a chance in the world the Cowboys end up beating the Steelers. So moving on from there, we have the Dolphins taking on the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going with the Cardinals in this game because the Cardinals, they've been surprising. That offense is pretty damn good. With the Dolphins, we got to see Tua in action last week. I'll be honest, it wasn't nothing great. I think he only threw didn't think he hit 100 yards, and he threw a touchdown. He had one turnover with the fumble, but that was expected considering they were playing the Rams. I still don't know why they decided to make this switch, because I do feel like with Ryan Fitzpatrick, maybe this could have been more of a closer game. But with how now, I will say this: the Dolphins did score on like all fronts of the game. Scored a special teams touchdown, scored on defense and offense. But against offense like Arizona's, who's gonna put up points, you can't play that. You can't count on that. I expect this to be. I'm expecting Arizona to beat Dolphins big in this game. I don't think it's gonna be as close as the Dolphins game was last week. Even though the Dolphins were pretty much shitting on the Rams, but again, like I said, they did that on all sides of the ball. Now, onto the Cardinals side, they really just have to play the way they've been playing. I don't think the Dolphins have an answer for that offense at all. Now, they could surprise me because the Dolphins defense has been looking a little better than I was expecting them to. Even though they have a lot of pieces on that offense that I think will gel together pretty good moving forward, within the next season or so. But yeah, man, that Cardinals offense is dangerous. So we saw that in the Seattle game. So, like I said, it's not really a lot on that one. I do like Tua. I think he'll be fine. But he just seemed like, he need a little more time. So I still, like I said, I just don't understand the decision. Sorry about that. The decision to, start him over Fitzpatrick so soon, but they did. So that's what they're going. That's the guy they're going with. And I just don't see him pulling off this win right here. So yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals in this one. Sunday night, we have the Saints taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I want to hold off on that just for a second because I'm going to spend a little more time on that. So I'm just going to jump to the Monday night game, and I'll come back to that one, which is the Patriots at the Jets. What needs to be said? I'm never picking the Jets. So let's jump back over to the Sunday night game. The Saints at 5-2, traveling to Tampa Bay to take on a division rival, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who sit at 6-2. And this game is going to be pretty much for the division. Whoever wins this game, if the Bucs win it, they're already in first place. If the Bucs win this game, they hold on to the first place spot. The Saints beat the Bucs. We sweep them. We sit at the top of the throne, top of the division. So, extremely important game right here. Now, me trying to be as unbiased as possible. We all know I'm a Saints fan. This is going to be a tough one for the Saints. The Bucs is not the same team we played in week 1. That defense looks a lot better. It is a lot better. That defense didn't look that good in week 1 when we played them. It has just gotten progressively better as the season has went on. And the Bucs, we all know the potential of that offense. That offense is lethal. They could run the ball. They could throw on you. And to add to that, Antonio Brown's coming back and playing his first game of the season with Tampa Bay, a team that's already stacked with offensive talent. And we all know what's the weakest point of the Saints team. That secondary. I'm telling you, as a Saints fan, every time a ball's in the air against the Saints, I'm already assuming it's a completion or a pass interference. I'm never expecting an incompletion, so that's worrying moving into this game. But the Saints does have a pretty decent enough pass rush to where if they could get pressure on Brady, similar to how the Giants did last week and how the Bears did when the Bears beat the Bucs, we should be able to hold that offense in check for the most part, because I'll be honest with you, I don't see the Saints completely shutting down that offense. Now, Marshawn Lattimore usually does play a lot better when he plays Mike Evans, but at this point with that offense, that doesn't even matter. When we know Brady spreads the ball around. Week 1, all you really had was Mike Evans. Gronk, didn't come alive yet, and without Chris Godwin. Now it's a lot different, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, that defense, that secondary has to step it up because it's pretty bad. And I've been talking about it all season, but this week is not the week for all the blown coverages, all the penalties, they have to play with a lot more discipline this week because Brady is definitely going to take advantage of that. I know the Bucs have been paying attention to that since week 1, how terrible that secondary has been performing. So I fully expect the Bucs to come out in this game and just straight into the passing game. Now, on to the Saints. The key for them to win this game, they're getting their receivers back, which is huge. We get Mike Evans and Sanders back. We also get Marquez Callaway back. And Kamara, he's pretty much been our offense this whole season. So that helps us a lot. So I do think with the offense returning, we have the offense to put up points with the Bucs. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if this thing hits 40 points, I cannot see the Saints beating the Bucs. So honestly, I do think our offense could hang with almost anybody as long as their defense, steps up and just don't keep allowing huge plays. You got to get the Bucs off the field. The Saints have to, manage the clock well, keep them on the sideline as long as possible. And that's basically the Saints' key to winning this game. Pressure Brady and keep them on the sideline as much as possible. Sean Payton, with all the stupid play calling, that can't happen this week. This team is too good for that. They will come from behind on pretty much anybody. And the last time the Saints played against Antonio Brown, shit it all over us, We still end up winning that game, but still, we can't afford that. So, of course, I'm picking the Saints this week. I'm just praying to God that they don't let me down. So, Sunday night, we watch, these two teams battle for NFC South supremacy, man. And the other big story around it is the touchdown record bouncing back between Breeze and Brady. Honestly, I don't even care about it anymore because once it was broken, I was like, whatever, But honestly, these two guys, it's nice to finally be able to see them take each other head to head. Pause. I just hate that it's so late in their careers, but they both playing good. Like we all talked about Breeze in the beginning of the season, how he looked old, and to an extent, he still, isn't. We know he's not that same Drew Brees anymore, but it hasn't been talked about. Breeze has been playing great, over the past 3 to 4 weeks, and Brady just been being Brady. So, like I said, man, this is gonna be a good one. I think this is gonna be a damn good game. I think it's gonna be probably one of the best games of the season, if not the best game of the season. So, like I said, man, Saints fans, get ready. We know how the Saints do. They never could just win a game normally. It's gonna always have to be some bullshit. So, prepare yourself now because we got a tough one coming up this Sunday. But with that, man, that's all the games for week 9. Again, we're sorry for the delay, but we do have a lot of other videos that we plan on getting out over the course of this next week. And we'll be back after this Thursday night game and recap that, even though, I don't think it's going to be that good of a game. It is a lot of things that's going to probably go on and probably get talked about during it. So I will be back to recap that tomorrow. So thank you guys for listening. Thank y'all for stopping by. Make sure you leave a like, drop a comment down, or let us know what your picks are for this week. And with that, I'm out.